Hi, this is Joseph Arthur. Thanks for checking out Come to Where I'm From. Please support us on Patreon, patreon.com/come to where I'm from. We are an independent podcast, and any contributions you can make are greatly appreciated. There she is.
Hello. Check.
Check. One, two.
Joan Wasser.
There you go. That's the intro. That's the big intro. Oh, man. Joan Wasser. Joan As Police Woman.
Oh, what's up? Oh, my God. See, I got my hair all looking like decent, and now the headphones are all fucking it up.
You don't need headphones if you don't want.
Yeah, but come on.
It kind of brings you in.
It's fun.
It is fun.
Headphones are fun.
I like headphones. I don't mind them.
What's up?
Are we going to do like cross?
Over here. Well, I just am uncomfortable otherwise.
Yeah, maybe.
What's up?
What's up, Joan?
Since we're fucking both yogis and shit.
Right, let's do a yogi one.
Wait, is there anything I can't say or do on this podcast?
You can say and do everything.
Wow.
Whatever you want.
Limitlessness is dangerous for Joan.
It is.
Maybe also for Joe.
It's definitely proven to be dangerous for me in the past.
Yeah.
And I haven't set limitations.
What's that mean, limitation
on
again?
Things like crystal meth.
Yeah. Like, for instance.
Like, for instance.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but.
Good place to start.
Just kidding. It's a joke.
We are in an undisclosed location in Brooklyn.
That's right.
With the amazing Joan Wasser, a.k.a. Joan As Police Woman.
What's up, dog?
What's up?
So good to see you.
So good to see you, too.
Yeah.
It's weird to do research on you.
Oh, good Lord.
Because I feel like I know you really well. But
You do.
Yeah, and I love you a lot.
I love you so much, too. Research is that other part of people that is less important, really,
yeah,
than this.
right.
Yeah, so what'd you learn about me? Oh,
I mean, like, your work ethic is pretty unbelievable, and the way that you're so dedicated to music and what you've been doing for the last, like, 20-something years. It's admirable, and it's amazing, and it's going so well for you, too, and that's awesome to see.
that's really nice to hear from someone who's really dedicated to music in a way that I feel is very similar to me.
Yeah.
And who also, like, I mean, I hear, it's really sweet. Your name will just come up from fans that are talking to me, just like, how is Joe? Or I was just listening to Joe and thought of you, or whatever. So it's nice that we are forever aligned through music.
Through music and through some cool collaborations on some of your stuff.
Oh, God,
and my stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, There Is a Light That Never Goes Out. Remember that?
Come on.
We did that. Your violins and stuff was amazing on that.
That was a special thing. Is that recorded?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Where? Oh.
Yeah. I would love to hear that. I remember that was a thing that was...
It's a great thing.
That was a good thing.
For a Smith's cover is a daunting thing. Like,
it sure is, yeah. Yeah.
But it was good. When I listened back to it, like, after a bunch of years, I was like, man, this rock. Like,
yeah.
Sometimes you listen back to your old stuff and you're really, like, impressed by it. What wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah.
Do you get that a lot?
Not a lot.
No?
I mean, I usually think, like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. And then, but I don't listen back very often. Almost never. Actually, putting the anthology together, like, I had to, like, listen back. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
It was fine. I forgot a lot of stuff that I did that I thought were very interesting choices.
Right. That's funny. That's a funny way to put it.
Yeah. It's
like what?
Wow.
Like, what was one of those?
Like, I felt like an outro was necessary here.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm listening and I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. It works.
Yeah.
Or just, like aesthetic choices with like, just aesthetic choices like that I wouldn't do now, that I was like, oh wow, that's where my mind was then.
Mm-hmm.
Like I put this like weirdo guitar shit on here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that definitely makes it less less that definitely makes it weirder.
Mm-hmm.
Why, like, was I trying to be weird, or actually I think that's just what felt right, like felt like was like the most appealing.
Well, sometimes like it's good to add production elements that kind of like rub against the grooviness of a thing.
Yeah.
Like you do that kind of thing on purpose.
Yeah.
And you're into it at the time, and then you listen back like a few months later, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. But that's what's so fun about producing your own shit.
Mm-hmm.
And having the ability to record it all, like at all times.
Yeah.
Like putting ideas down and then deciding like, nah.
Yeah.
That's not it. But this other thing, because I put this down, this other thing came up. What are you in the middle of right now?
I have a cool concept going on.
What's up?
Okay, so I just put out a record like about
October.
Okay, thank you. October.
Comeback World.
Comeback World available now.
Out on your own label.
Yeah, on my own label, Moon Age Rebel.
Yes, you did. Wait, that's great. You have your own label.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's really cool.
And I'm getting ready to do this takeover of this museum floor in NYC called Fotografiska. It's a new photo museum.
Okay.
It's like 6 floors on Park Avenue.
Okay, great.
And 22nd or something.
Okay, great.
And I'm going to do the 6th floor takeover for like the first week of February. And I've decided to bring my studio in there.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to paint a lot and
Yeah.
just live out of there basically. And
Yeah.
there's going to be people coming through while I just like work. And I decided that I'm going to make an album in there too while I'm doing it.
I mean, why not?
Well, because I have the songs.
Oh, so good.
And so it's like I was getting ready to go in the studio, and then I just thought, why not make it a public kind of thing?
That's a great idea.
Yeah, and then there's going to be a performance February 6th of the album that I've made that week.
In a week.
But, well, like that's the idea. I'm going to do it like with loops. I'm just going to do like how I would like eventually go perform it live. I'm going to do that, figure that out first, and then record it like that maybe like a few times.
Great.
And just like see what that is.
That's great.
That's the idea.
Love it.
It's fun when you have an idea that like feels vital, and then you have like, I don't know, you have that extra, because there's so often I feel like in the artistic pursuit there's these long moments of like procrastination and aimlessness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you get over those humps, it's like, okay, it's fun again.
Oh, well, yeah, you've reached the promised land. You have a goal.
You have a goal and all that.
And then it's just putting the pieces together.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have the basic idea. That's great. Yeah, that is a good feeling.
And yeah, so that I'm rocking on that feeling
That's
right now.
great.
So that's cool.
That's good.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think about keeping all the tuning at 432. I've been performing all at 432 for a while.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Is it like some kind of divine number?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read about this.
Right.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's like super symmetrical.
Yeah.
Tom Rothrock.
Okay,
You know
that's a great name, but
remember that producer?
Nope.
You know him?
Nope.
He produced Elliott Smith and,
okay.
and some lots of stuff.
Yeah.
I think he had Bong Load Records.
Okay. So why is 432 special?
Because I went to a festival that he puts out in California in this tree house.
Okay, of course.
And he's like got this DJ set up, and I went in there, and without any drugs or anything, I just was mesmerized by the sound of the music, and I was like, why? And I asked him, why does the music sound so good? Like, and then he told me he tunes every single thing down to where it's 432.
Okay.
And so the reason I buy 432 so like wholeheartedly is because without knowing, I sensed it.
Of course.
And I don't consider myself somebody like with perfect pitch or any of that kind of stuff.
Thank God.
Super sensitive, or that's not like how I am. So the fact that I noticed it and it was like that, then I was just like, ever since then, been real attracted to it.
Nice.
But to find a keyboard that you can tune down to 432, that's my new goal. Because they're all at 440.
I mean, I guess you could get a keyboard that you
can tune.
That, or like, that you program all the sounds onto.
Right, like a sampler?
Yeah.
That's true.
That's
probably what I should do.
Maybe. I bet there's a tunable keyboard.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's gotta be.
Yeah.
They have to be there, but what about you? You've just toured for 6 months, right?
6 months on the solo, 6 month solo tour.
Yeah.
Last year, I finished up the Damn Devotion touring in
Great
Australia.
Album.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
At the beginning of last year, so that was with the band.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put out Joanthology and did 6 months of solo touring, which was, I have to say, like, it was amazing. I was worried because I love playing with my band so much.
Yeah.
Like, I get so much out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like in a state of like pure joy when I'm on stage with them.
Yeah.
Really, And so I was like, what is this going to be like just being on stage by myself all the time? I mean, I've done solo shows throughout my life, but like 6 months of it, like I made it so that there's no openers. So it's just me, because I personally, I personally can't take me too much music. Like if I go to see one of my friends, like if there's something, then my brain just gets tired out.
Yeah. It's like walking around a museum.
Yes.
You can only do it for like so long before you're burnt.
That's exactly right. It's too much input, So, so what is it? What is it going to be like? Like, am I going to be so lonely? Or whatnot? I mean, I tour with 2 people. But like, am I going to be so lonely on stage? It's like, I'm lonely anyway. Might as well be on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Are
you? You're lonely?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I'm also really happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a mix.
It is. Yeah. But the solo.
I feel that.
Yeah. I know you
I'm
do.
the same way.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
But that was good for me because I've always, like you, felt, I'm not going to speak for you, but I feel quite relaxed on stage.
Yeah, typically I can do.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
After doing this, now it's just like, I just like learn to take more time.
Yeah.
And learn to just not freak out about anything.
Right.
At all.
Yeah.
And that's a good feeling, because then it just feels like I'm just not ever worried.
Yeah.
There's no worry.
Well, no matter what, if you don't freak out, the whole place can be going ape shit. And if you just kind of laugh it off, it becomes all sort of fun.
Totally.
Whereas if you freak out, then the audience gets real uncomfortable.
That's right.
And then it becomes really weird.
Yeah, that's right. So...
But I love the awkward moments.
Oh, yeah.
I just dig into them.
So do I. So do I, yeah.
I explain to the audience that I'm enjoying the awkwardness. Though,
yeah, exactly.
So that
as long
they
as
can
you
enjoy it,
exactly.
too.
Yeah. I mean, I've started crying on stage.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, just a little bit. But, like, then I laugh and I'm like, look at me, I'm crying. And then I keep going.
Yeah.
And then people are like...
Crying from the song?
Like, for a variety of reasons. I mean, yeah, or like I remember something that had to do with the song that I hadn't thought about since I wrote the song.
Right.
Or like anything, like some message I got from someone that day about like, will you play this song because my friend just committed suicide and I really, like this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like the amount of communication now we have with the people that listen to us is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it is really incredible.
Yeah.
People ask me, oh, well, isn't that too much? No.
Yeah.
That's personal connection with someone, another human being.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Do people write you and stuff like that on the Instagram and all that?
Yeah, a lot.
Do you respond?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I try to respond, too.
Yeah, I mean, we can do what we can.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets
Sometimes
too
it
much.
stacks, and then it's like, I got to go through this, and it's like 30 of them or something.
Yeah, yeah,
you
and
know?
sometimes you can't.
And it's like, okay.
Yeah, sometimes you can't. But
Yeah.
yeah. So then I got back and I finished a covers record.
And then number 2.
Number 2,
Mm-hmm.
cover 2.
I like it. I like the track listing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, which has not been told yet.
Oh, but it's in your press release.
Oh, is it? It's in my press release, and it's not
That's just
public.
for us.
Oh, that's not
Yeah,
public.
it's
Oh,
not
okay.
public yet,
Oh, okay.
but
Well,
that's cool.
Can we
No
discuss
no
them or
spoilers.
No spoilers.
Not quite yet.
Nah.
And I'm going that there's a tour set up for that in May and June with Parker, with just trio. So Parker and Jacob Silver, who plays bass, who's sick.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, should I keep going?
Yeah, well, does the album have a release
Absolutely.
date? You could say that.
The release date is May something.
Okay.
I know it
Soon.
has a
I think
release
the dates
date.
were May 2020.
Okay.
Yeah,
May,
I don't-
April.
The album's been mastered, delivered.
Oh yeah,
Did Kevorkian do it?
yeah, he did.
Yeah, I love him. Oh yeah, I
Love
remember
him
because
too.
I was. Yeah, I liked the photo. Yeah, he was working with you.
Oh my God, I look embalmed. I just worked every day in the studio, and then had done a 14-hour day the day before. You know, the crazy shit that you do to
Yeah.
prep a record to get mastered.
Yeah, exactly. I always wait till after it's mastered, and then I remix everything and then master it again.
Oh man.
Oh man,
Aw.
Fred. Yeah, I drive Fred nuts a little bit when.
Fred
Oh
is so
wait,
great.
can we do this one thing? And
Yeah, he's the best. Obsessed with sharks.
Do
you know that
Is he?
about him? Yeah, he's obsessed with sharks.
really?
Yeah, isn't that cute?
I thought that was a phrase of obsessed with sharks. That's what that means.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you redo things.
Yeah, no.
No, okay. He's
But yeah, that
literally
could be it.
obsessed
Yeah,
with
he is.
sharks.
He is. Yeah. Yeah, he's
in what way?
he is literally just fascinated with sharks.
Sharks.
I learned about that. He had sharks up in his original space that I went to 15 years ago or
Yeah.
whatever. And I was like, "What's up with the sharks?" He's like, "I like sharks."
That's funny.
Fred's so understated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, when you toured, are you still ultra disciplined? Because I remember for a time you were definitely you're in bed by 10 p.m. Or not 10 p.m. obviously because the show's still going on, but right away, and you were up early. Are you still rolling that way, or have you eased up on that?
Well, if I could fall asleep at 10, I would, but I cannot.
Right.
I'm a night person, so
You are. Okay,
yeah,
so you've
even if
gone
I'm
night.
at the hotel pretty early, I'm awake.
Oh, okay.
I can't fall asleep. I don't
So for years I've been chastising myself, you should
No
go
way.
to bed like Joan.
Oh my God, I love you. I think probably that happened for a month when we were hanging.
Oh man, that's been in my head
Oh
forever.
baby, no. I mean,
Now I'm gonna let up on myself.
yeah, you
No.
can. But I would love it if I could go to bed early, but I cannot, especially
Right.
after a show. My mind's on forever.
Yeah.
So
What is that? That crazy weird adrenaline thing that happens after a show.
Adrenaline.
yeah, adrenaline.
Fair enough.
And then I think you just have your feelers on such a high level of
Yeah.
sensitivity because you're about to do this thing,
Right.
for where the people, especially with us with the solo shit, they hear every single thing you do.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, for me my sensitivity is on this level of incredible height, and then it just takes a long time for that to just come down.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, when I'm home I go to sleep a little bit earlier, but I'm a night person, so I'm never going to bed early.
Right.
I wish.
You like working at night?
Yeah, I do. I work at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't work during the day. People that work during the day, I'm fascinated by, but it feels like I'm a different species.
Yeah, I tried that with 20-something songs. I was doing this thing of writing first thing in the morning a song.
Oh, wow.
That was the goal.
Yeah.
Write and record a song, no matter what.
Yeah,
I
I
did
feel
it
you.
job style, just
Yeah,
as an
yeah.
experiment.
How was it?
It worked out. There's some definite stinkers in there, but there's some good ones. I got some good ones out of it.
See, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And I want to do that.
Yeah, it's a good experiment.
Yeah.
Anyway, just like
so you did it as soon as you woke up.
as soon as I woke up, like
that's the way.
yeah, because actually it was like Childish. I think Gambino.
Yeah.
I don't remember his actual real
Glover.
Yeah, Danny Glover.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah, he's pretty off the chain on a lot of levels. But I was listening to an article or an interview with him, and he was talking about writing first thing in the morning and how that it was easier. Everything was like more genius or something.
Ooh, okay.
And so I was like, okay, that's good enough for me.
Oh yeah, that's good enough.
Yeah, so I was like, I tried it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it worked.
And
actually.
it worked. Yeah, it worked.
It's like the antithesis of what I feel, but that is why I should try it.
Yeah, because
I'm gonna
just
do it.
straight up out of the dream state. Go
So
right
on.
right there, and it's like weirdly like also your brain is all fresh but
Sure.
still halfway dreamy. Like
okay.
it's worth trying.
Oh God, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah,
'Cause
just do like let me write 10 songs. Do 10 days. Be like every day.
Ooh.
And just force yourself to like complete one,
make
like
choices,
brill
yeah.
building style.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
even if this lyric sucks,
Yeah,
This
just
is
leave
it.
it. You can change it later.
change it later.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
because like half
Oh,
of
dude,
that.
I'm gonna do that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep going.
Well, this like we just interviewed Harlan Coben for the podcast. The great writer, and he was talking about how like battling through self-hatred and all that, and just no matter what, just write. Don't And it's you have to give yourself permission to suck.
Yeah, to be bad.
Yeah, and when you do that, it's very liberating. 'Cause,
Sure.
like when we first started, it was just like every idea you had was like, oh, they're worth chasing. But the older you get, the more you do it, the more the more pressure, or perceived pressure, and all that stuff can create procrastination.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you deal with procrastination?
Yeah, of
ever,
course I
or-
do. Oh yeah. I absolutely do. I really, I like the amount of time I spend like just like, what am I doing? Why am I looking at this fucking phone?
Right.
I mean, that type of shit. It's like,
Right, it's driving you crazy
oh man.
sometimes.
I mean, like what? Then
why am I checking Instagram?
I'm so angry at
again?
myself,
Yeah.
and then that doesn't help.
Right.
So anyway, so yeah, I deal with it all the time, and I try to be nice to myself about it, cause, but yeah, so I'm gonna be writing a new Joan As Police Woman record, and I'm gonna do that as part of it.
Yeah, try
That's
it.
great, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a great thing. Yeah.
Do you do any other kind of like do you have a morning ritual in terms of like how do you get your mind state right?
Coffee.
Straight up. Just
I love coffee.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
I mean, I love coffee.
Yeah. Me too.
Coffee is
Yeah.
just such a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the best idea in every way.
It usually always is.
I mean,
Except for at midnight.
which I did last night, and then I paid.
What, you stayed up all night?
I was up till like 7 a.m.
Really?
And I was so mad. I was like, really, Joan? Because I can do it often where
Yeah.
I just go right to sleep. And then I was like, you dumbass.
Right.
You fucked up.
You fucked up.
So I got to just make sure I don't do that. Because
Right.
whether it was because of that or not, I don't need to be drinking coffee
Not
at
at
midnight.
midnight.
It was like, well, it was like
Not unless you're gonna do
10:30
an all-nighter or
p.m.
something.
Yeah, no, just don't do it. Just dumb. Anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, won't be doing that.
Right. So but do you do any kind of like yoga, meditation, any of that kind of stuff, or you just go straight into your day?
I usually go straight into my day. I do yoga maybe 5 times a week, but I go to classes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I used to do more on my own, and I don't. It's just I
Right.
just go to a class,
Yeah.
which I really like because I like being told what to do.
Me too.
Like I really love it. Just order me around.
Yeah, especially because when are you going to make yourself do yoga for 90 minutes unless you're in a class?
Yeah,
or
you're not.
75 minutes. or
That's
whatever.
right.
You're just not going to do that
No.
in your house.
No, you're not. I'm too distracted here. So
Yeah.
so I do have that. I just usually stupidly jump into like admin, which is like that's not fun. Like
Oh,
just
you
like
do, like,
returning
go
emails and
emails?
all that shit. It's like that's not good. That's not a useful that's not useful energy.
Right.
That's not helping me. That's not using my morning energy in a very good way.
But you're comfortable enough in your skin to where you don't like desperately need to do something. Because I'm like, I wake up in a state of basic desperation.
Okay, right on.
You know what I
Okay,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
I do.
Where it's like, I need to shift this into a positive direction.
And so what do you do?
I go to yoga first thing, or I go run.
First thing. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I do some kind of physical fitness thing.
Yeah. I usually wake up happy.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I've lately been more.
That's great.
It's nice.
But doing exercise in the morning is wonderful.
Yeah.
It's never when I want to do it. I want to do it later.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but when you can do it when I actually have to do it in the morning, I'm like, wow, I wish I could do this all the time because it feels amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're on tour, what do you do?
Yeah,
Do you do anything?
I do. Yeah. I mean, what I'm doing is researching yoga classes all the time.
I always like yoga near me.
Yeah, I do that like a lot. And then, they got like shitty gyms that I go to at the hotels.
Yeah.
And not even shitty gyms, good gyms.
Fitness
I
centers.
do. Fitness centers,
Hey, you moved.
I
Yeah,
do.
the sun.
I am. Yeah, because if I don't exercise on tour, that's not good. I need to shift all this around all the time.
Yeah. How do you keep your is that how you keep your energy like good on tour, like doing that kind of stuff, or like?
Yeah, and that's also how I'm not an asshole.
Right.
I mean, that keeps my mental energy proper.
Yeah.
And then of course the physical too. I mean, that's like necessary because the whole thing is used to getting exercised.
Yeah.
So being on tour and sitting all the time in various places, then I gotta move that around because you're not like necessarily walking around, or I bike everywhere, in New York City, so I don't have that on tour. So I gotta be vigilant.
The bike is for real.
I
stopped riding my bike as much as I used to when I lived in Brooklyn.
Okay, yeah.
And then yesterday I rode up to
Can't say it.
Upper West Side to do the Harlan thing. Then I rode to Brooklyn in the evening over the Williamsburg Bridge. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
It hits the lungs.
Oh, it hits the lungs, and then it's freedom.
Yeah.
Because, you're moving at your own pace. You get to see the city and wherever you are in this other way.
Yeah.
And you're breathing. So, that breathing makes you, I mean, at least for me, makes everything just, look beautiful.
Yeah.
Biking is, the way.
Do you wear headphones when you do it?
No. I mean, sometimes, but very rarely.
Do you wear a helmet?
Yeah, I do.
Me too.
Yeah, I do. Got to, because it's not about how safe we are. It's about the person that isn't safe that hits you with a fucking car. Yeah.
Yeah, and you only get one of these.
Only one noggin.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we got to, preserve those noggins.
You got to preserve it.
Yeah.
Anything else you can mess with a
That's
little
right.
bit here and
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Not that.
No.
You want to keep that
Yeah. Do want to keep that.
intact.
Yeah.
So, the funny thing about touring that people, I think, don't really understand is how extreme it is with the travel and the pressure and the lack of sleep and stuff like that. And that's when you're in front of everybody, having to also be charming and... and there could be a sound guy. Do you travel with a sound guy?
I do.
Yeah,
That's necessary because that relieves so much stress.
So much stress.
Yes, guy I've had forever.
Yeah, but so that I don't know. Do you have any funny stories about that? Got any kooky road stories? I can't believe I just asked that
Love
question. No, but just because you just did 6 months.
Yeah.
How did I don't know, just keeping your head together in that situation.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the thing that I do often is between sound check and show.
Yeah.
I go to sleep. I take a
yeah.
nap.
Yeah.
When I'm that tired, the good thing about me is I can sleep anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
After sound check, there's actually not that much space because I was playing pretty early. I was doing 8:30 usually.
Yeah.
So I can't eat before I play. So everybody's going to dinner and I'm going to sleep.
Right.
That really helped. That's everything. If I didn't have that, because the amount of sleep you get is zero. It's zilch.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's horrible because even if you have a designated 5-hour spot to sleep, you're flying the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm flying, it's like, which happens a lot, I'm not sleeping well
Right.
the night before, usually.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what, mostly that's what I do.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
sleep deprivation, it drives people insane.
It does, yeah, it does.
And then put them in a high pressured situation, and it's like and then also, okay, let's face it too, probably with strange egos to begin with, just to be in show business also. So like it just becomes like explosive.
Yeah.
Or it can.
Yeah. That's also part of the reason why I learned to just take a lot more time on stage than I would previously have allowed myself.
How do you mean?
Just like,
And during the actual performance?
yeah, and okay, we're ready for you, Joan, and then I'll wait until I feel good enough, and then when I sit at the piano, if I'm not ready to play, I'll just hang out.
Oh yeah.
And just breathe a little bit before I start playing, rather than, oh my God, I'm on stage and everybody's here, and so I have to start right now. Now I just don't do that.
You don't do that?
No, because
How long is the longest you've just sat there?
I have
and
no
breathed?
idea. Not super long.
Right.
Because I could get it
20 minutes later.
because of yoga. I could I know how to
Yeah.
calm it down real fast.
Mhm.
20 minutes. No, I'm not. I'm not doing off the cuff John Cage situations. But I do wait for my whole self to be
Yeah.
ready to play. And that changes everything.
That's cool. So what made you decide to put out the career retrospective, or all what called Joanthology? Is that how you can say it?
Yeah, yeah.
Joanthology.
Yeah.
What that's like a 40 track thing, right? Like 40.
Yeah, and then there's a whole record of live at the BBC sessions.
Right.
Why did I do that? I have no idea. No, it was suggested to me that I do it. People tend to gravitate towards one record, and know that record really well. I'm sure you have a similar thing. Sometimes people are like, "Oh, I love that record, this specific record," and they know nothing else of yours. And even with all the Spotifys and stuff, they still only know that record. So I wanted to choose a playlist for people to have. Also, I put some new stuff on there and B-sides and stuff. And then also just wanted to honor the BBC Six Music, for doing that forever.
All their support.
Yeah, for doing live sessions. People don't do that anymore.
Right.
And mostly Mark Riley, has been doing it forever and still does it. That's so much work for them, and they do it.
Ehud does it.
Yeah, I know.
Still doing it.
I know.
By myself out of pocket.
One-on-one. Shout out one-on-one.
Thank you, Joe.
Ehud is a god. We know.
Man.
Yeah, we know.
You're not kidding.
Yeah. Yeah.
This podcast wouldn't exist without that dude.
Yeah, and you made that amazing video for me.
The classic.
Yeah.
The classic.
That was really great.
Yeah.
That was really great.
That was fun.
Yeah. It was fun.
We actually talked. We had Toshi on very early on in the podcast, and she brought that up, and we reminisced a little.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
And then I threw a little piece of the actual video in that episode.
Yeah, you
did. I saw it again. I was like, wow. That was I remember it was Joe and Reggie Watts and Toshi.
Yeah.
And we did it in
right by the Flatiron.
30 minutes, in the street, quick in and out.
Yeah. Amazing.
So putting out the anthology, what did that teach you about where you have been and where you are going?
Yeah.
Because it seems like when you do something like that, there's kind of this line in the sand of okay, kind of it's at least a bookend or something, right? It's maybe liberating on some level.
Yeah, it was interesting. When I sit down to write a song, I really still feel like it's the first song I ever wrote.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a template of a song of how it's supposed to be or whatever. So, I mean, just seeing the places I went with songs, that was interesting. I was like, wow, like, okay. Like, there's a lot of paths you can take through writing a song, which is just what makes it so fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so it's the most creative thing.
Yeah.
You know, 5 minutes ago, the song did not exist, and now it does.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds really dumb, but it's like, where are you going to go with this? You could go anywhere otherwise. But, I mean, since I started recording, now I have a home studio.
Right.
I do so much stuff here in conjunction with going into the studio, you know. And, like, I just know so much more about technology and how to use it in a way that I like, and recording myself and all that. So, I mean, that was fun, too, because my first records were made all in the studio, all the basics recorded live, you know, and that's, like, a lot different, which is, all of that's fun.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Do you allow yourself to, like, write songs that, like, you'll, like, maybe a familiar chord pattern, but the melody is enticing you to, like, allow for this, like, oh, I've definitely used this kind of chord progression before, but I like where this melody's going? Or do you let your mind interfere and go, like, no, you got to change it up and make it more interesting or something? Asking for a friend.
I knew that.
I think probably yes and no, depending on the situation. You know, if the melody is great, totally fine using the same chords. Also, how often do we all use the same chords?
Right.
Not just me, but me and everybody else has used this chord progression a million times. And look, we'll still be using it and making amazing songs from it. You know, I mean, that's also like a really creative challenge. Like, how can you use these chords everybody's used forever and make a new thing out of it?
Right.
I mean, that's really fun. I mean, I just know from your writing, you are able to find your way through a similar chord progression and it be a totally different feeling.
Right.
Yeah, you really are.
Yeah.
But you're an incredibly gifted songwriter.
Thank you.
That's the truth. I mean, you know.
Thank you.
Also ridiculously prolific.
Yeah, like getting it back together lately. Like,
That's
I'm back in the flow state, aware of, like, you know, how the power of words, like, to manifest our reality. Like, I was walking the East Village the other day and I saw a friend. He's like, I'm having writer's block, and I was like, don't say that. You're gonna keep creating that. So, like, tell the next person you see that you're writing really well. Yeah. Anyway, I've been doing that lately.
That's cool.
Aware of manifesting things.
Yeah. Or, like, writer's block, what does that actually mean? Like, maybe your mind needs, like, a rest from thinking about writing and just writing aimlessly and not thinking I gotta do, like what you were saying, like, not thinking, like, this has got to be something important.
Right.
No, maybe you just gonna write and then see where it goes, and that's gonna be something special that you would not have gotten.
Yeah, I heard you say in an interview that you don't have writer's block, or you don't believe in writer's block, or something like that.
Yeah, because I have called it that.
Right.
And it doesn't help, like you said. I mean, if something isn't coming, I'm gonna go out and have a bike ride, and that's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna, like, do something else for a month.
Yeah.
That's, like, really fun. I'm going to go to all the museums I haven't been to that are in my city that I haven't been to in 3 years. Like, I'm going to go see what's going on or whatever, you know, and then I will be inspired. I mean, we know, like, if we take a pause, then at some point there's going to be this thing where this craving to make a song, and you just have to do it. Like, you can't actually wait. Like, it's this thing going, okay, time now, where it's like, it's kind of like being hungry.
It comes in phases for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's true for everybody.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
guess so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you writing did you write a bunch of new songs on that 6-month-long tour?
I wrote a little bit. It's not the easiest for me to write on the road. I also was doing a lot of editing on the road for the covers record that I just finished.
Oh, okay.
So
You had a laptop and you were working on it?
yeah.
Like mixing it?
Yeah. Yeah. Doing a lot
Did
of.
you mix it that way?
I did a lot of editing. Like I did a lot of editing. So yes, mixing. Yeah. And then I brought it in and like, had, did a proper mix. But yeah, I got a lot of like,
Pre-mixing.
yes, which is which is a lot of time, which for me on the road where there is a lot of time is a wise use of time.
Interesting.
Yeah, because
Giving me good ideas too.
yeah, because I don't often have that mind where it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make a new song right now. But I do have these like 26 tracks of trumpet that I need to go through and place the pieces within the song, and like that kind of like. I mean, I think of it, I don't smoke weed anymore, but I think of it as that thing where like I used to smoke weed and then just be fine with doing my taxes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so I think of it as that mind where it's just like, it's not mindless, but it's just like this kind of dull, usually also because I'm tired. It's like this sort of low level concentration where you do have to be, your mind does have to be active, but it doesn't have to be as active or as, sparkling as like maybe writing a new song. But so I can use that kind of energy in, for editing.
Yeah, and you like editing, I guess.
I
Right?
do.
Yeah.
I do
heard
like
you say
editing.
that.
Do you?
No.
Yeah, I know. Most people don't. I'm a weirdo that way.
I like writing.
No.
I like writing new shit.
Yeah.
But that whole like editing thing, that's important.
But I see it as like such a creative thing because I mean editing is just about like making a new track from like raw material. It's like here's the clay, it's beautiful clay.
Yeah.
How am I gonna arrange it in the song so that it actually makes it beautiful?
Are you using Pro Tools or Logic?
I use Logic.
Logic.
Yeah, I don't use Pro Tools. I have it, but I notice I don't use it. I just like Logic is for me so much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
I've been using Ableton.
Yeah, I tried to do Ableton, yo. That is like, that just does not stick in my brain.
Yeah, I still don't really know what I'm doing.
Well, that's great. I mean, that's great. I can't.
Happy accidents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when it comes to editing and stuff like that, I don't really. I had my way around Pro Tools really well.
I
but
remember that.
Yeah, I was good with that.
Yeah, I
don't
remember.
know why I switched, but I did, and now that's what I have.
Well, you could go back.
I could.
Hello.
Yeah,
Come
it's
on.
true.
Yeah.
It's not impossible.
No,
Yeah,
it's not. No.
So, man, you've been making music for a long time. I feel like maybe for some of our listeners, we should explore some of your past. What do you think?
Sure.
Yeah. How did you get into it?
Into music. I mean, okay, so I was going to be a dancer.
Oh, okay.
That is what I was going to do, which includes music.
The brain arose to facilitate movement.
Yeah, so like I mean, I was just, that's what I was going to do. I took a lot of dance when I was young. I'm talking about like starting at 4.
Yeah, we're going way back.
Yeah, way back. And then my public school offered, there was an assembly in 3rd grade, and they came in and they like played the violin, viola, cello, bass, and you could
Pick one.
especially because of where I lived, you could rent an instrument for $10 a year.
Wow.
So that everyone could do it.
That's amazing.
It is.
What
Yeah.
happened to those programs?
Well, they all got cut, So, but that is how I played the violin, and, my teachers thought I had promise, so I started taking private lessons, and then I just kept doing it. I mean, I loved it. I was still going to be a dancer. But then my body took over. I hit puberty, and my knees started going wrong.
Really?
Yes.
So young like that.
Yeah, I hit puberty and my knees started dislocating.
Weird.
Yeah. I mean, because I'm adopted, I met my birth parents, and then I learned that, like, my birth father's kids also have this.
Yeah.
What I have. But
That's the culprit.
yeah. So
and your biological parents were musicians too, right? It was like
my biological
your dad
dad
was a bass player.
quit school at 14
Yeah.
to tour in a country band.
Yeah.
And my mother, who actually loved free jazz.
Right.
And like, I mean, she was like a total Miles head and stuff, but she loved like a lot of out jazz
Bitches
stuff.
Brew.
Yeah, but she liked actual out shit.
Even more out than bitches.
Way
Brew.
more
like
out.
Making bitches brew look like a pop song.
Yeah, exactly. Like Mozart. You know, her parents made her take violin and piano.
That's so interesting.
She didn't stick with it because she didn't like it, but she loved music. But yeah, it is interesting because those 3 instruments I play, actually.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that until after I had, started playing them.
That's pretty wild.
It is wild. So anyway, I had to stop dancing.
Mm-hmm.
And so the other thing that I was doing was playing
that
the violin.
heartbreaking for you?
Heartbreaking, life-changing. Like, oh my
Did
God.
you think life was over?
Kinda. Yeah, kinda. But there's every reason to think the life is over at 12 in general.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's like a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
So that was just adding to the reasons.
Another one.
Yeah. So I went to school for class. I went to college for classical violin. I had already been into so much music and had been going to shows like forever. I loved punk rock and hardcore stuff. Like literally my first 2 shows were Black Flag and the Bad Brains.
Nice.
Yeah. Thankfully, near where I grew up, there was an all ages punk rock club. So I got to see that stuff when I was 14.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love those. It was run by a couple brothers, Brian and Sean Sheridan. Shout out.
Where was that?
That was it started in Stamford and then it moved to Norwalk.
Mm.
What was the club?
It's called the Anthrax, having nothing to do with the metal band.
We just released an episode with the bass player from Anthrax.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Today.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's not funny.
that's great.
Or, well, it won't be today anymore on this, but today.
Yeah. So, anyway, and then I was coming into the city to see like Susie and the band. She's on the piers and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got to school, then I just started playing with all sorts of people in different ways. Cause really I'd only been reading off the page and the violin. Cause that's what you do when you study classical violin, you just read the music off the page. So I'd never otherwise just played whatever I wanted over here,
right?
So then I started playing with a bunch of people. I mean, actually, I met my really still good friend Mary Timoney of Helium and the Mary Timoney Band. Now she has XX. She's incredible. We met the first day of college in 1988 in September, and then we started playing together. She just sort of taught me we just jammed all the time together. That was the first time.
Jam.
I mean, she was she hung out with me when I figured out what I liked, So that was huge for me. She's an incredible, she's just an amazing person, but incredible, totally anomalous musician. There's nobody like her.
Right.
She has her own vocabulary on the guitar and stuff. Have you ever seen her play?
I think so. Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
But it's been a while.
I mean, she can just start tapping out of nowhere, and it's where's that sound? And she's just it's so effortless. Everything is so effortless. She's just incredible. Anyway, and then I started joining bands. I joined this band called the Dam Brothers in 1990. That's when everybody was getting signed to major labels, weird arty bands were getting signed to major labels. We signed to Elektra, put out major label releases, toured a lot in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know.
So that was your first experience touring?
That was, yeah, it was. Yeah. Yep. And
you just loved it, I guess?
I mean, playing really loud music. Like, I mean, the thing that I wanted to do with the violin was just, like, make it as non-violin as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, so I ran it through a bass amp. I ran Sun Cab high watt head.
Right.
So 2 15-inch speakers with a high watt head through, like, you know, multiple distortion pedals. You know, I just, like, you know, it's like...
I mean, didn't it just scream with feedback?
No, because I figured it out.
How'd you figure it out?
I just, like, well, first of all, I covered my violin with cabinet paper. Which muffled the sound. And then I just got the right kind of pickup and learned how to, learned how to control it. So, and then sometimes I would make it feedback, and that was real fun.
And did you play it through an octave pedal and make it low too sometimes?
I did, yeah. I did that. That's on our cover of the Smith song.
Oh, yeah.
I put that through, like, a harmonizer.
Right.
And that's why it sounds like that, too.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, so. And then what? I just, that band did a lot of stuff. We broke up in 97. At that point, Jeff had died.
Right.
Earlier in 97. Jeff Buckley, who I was with for the last 3 years of his life.
Right.
And I was just lost.
Right.
And then I put a band together with a couple of his band members, Parker Kindred and Michael Ty.
Black Beatles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we sort of I hadn't been singing at all before.
Uh-huh.
I avoided singing like the plague, really. I didn't do singing.
Real interesting. I didn't start singing until I was a little older, too.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. And then I couldn't not sing at that point because I was in so much pain.
Open your voice up.
Yeah, I couldn't. The violin was not enough for the amount of emotions and pain that I was going through. So I started singing, playing guitar.
And that's when you were writing songs with them too, or
yeah, that's when I started writing songs.
That's you discovered songwriting then.
Yeah.
How old were you then?
I was 26, when Jeff died, and then then we did that. We like. It was also a way to stay alive, to like check up on each other all the time because we were all not doing good.
Right.
So yeah, and you know the way that I knew how to survive was music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, survive like mentally.
Yeah.
Music had always like helped me through every.
Yeah, I heard you say music saved your life.
Yeah.
Then and does now still.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you feel the same way?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. I mean.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's not even measurable.
No, definitely not. Definitely. So that's cool though. So I'm not that familiar with Black Beetle music though. But so is that stuff that you still resonate with? Or?
There's a reason why, because we never released any of it.
Oh, it's so okay. So I haven't missed it.
No,
oh, okay,
we recorded an EP.
I got it, babe.
And then we recorded a whole album, and we never released any of it. There was a lot of, it was just such a rough time.
Right.
And it did really feel like a sort of like we were all just learning to write, to sing.
Yeah. I knew you around that. So that's right when I kind of met you.
Yeah.
I think. Right
yes,
around
absolutely.
then. I met you at the Fez, I feel like.
Okay, yeah, right. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Fez.
We were just on a similar bill or something.
Yeah.
And then I remember, you were just, playing violin with somebody, and then you're like, yeah, I'm starting this band, Black Beetle, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we did that. Until 2002.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I was like, I gotta just do this by myself.
Right. So from there you went in
2002.
Joan As Police Woman
Yeah.
was born.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the trajectory of your, I mean, career. Okay, it's not a dirty word to say career. It's like, no, but I just love it because it's just like you evolved into who you are. You took your time with that evolution, and once you landed there, it fucking blew up. Which is, it's just great. It's super inspiring, I feel like.
That's nice.
Don't you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, in many ways, I feel thankful that I wasn't writing my own songs until I was in a place where I had something to say that was coherent.
Well, that too. Like, it came out the box really developed.
Yeah, because I had just been in like, you know, it had been on the stove for a long time.
Gumbo was cooking in the pot.
Yeah, for a long time. And I really didn't know. It wasn't that I put it off. I really didn't know how to do it until until I knew how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any better feeling than like first sort of discovering your voice as a songwriter and like making jams that come back out the speakers sounding pretty damn good and exciting? What, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a question, but it's more
yeah.
just like a, you know, that feeling when you first like waking up to that of who you are.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, it took me a long time to decide that my voice was okay.
Oh, singing wise.
Yeah, because I had been around all these insane singers.
You're an insane singer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah. It's true.
I mean, around Jeff, but then I joined
Right.
Antony's band in '99.
Right. Another marvel.
I mean, you
Yeah.
know, and so it's
Yeah,
like,
I could see the intimidation
yeah,
factor.
what do I have to offer?
Right.
You know, that's what I thought. So finding a voice that I felt comfortable with took a second, years. But then, yeah, like making the songs, that is like, it is a marvel. Like, wow, what happened here? I made something that I don't hate.
Right.
And maybe even like.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Yeah. It's an amazing feeling. I still have that. I was like, wait, how did this happen?
Yeah. It's a great feeling.
It
when
is.
you write something that you're like, wow, this is actually really good.
Yeah.
I think.
I know. It's great.
You know?
Yeah.
In all those reincarnations with Anthony and those other bands, were you doing backing vocals? And did anyone ever say, hey, you have a good voice, why don't you step up?
In Anthony's band, well, okay, so first of all, Anthony's now known as Anoni and as she. So I had started writing. I was in that band from 99 to 2004. So I had started writing in that, and then like I had played her some stuff. She said, you should keep going. That's always super helpful when
That's
someone
nice.
that you love their work says yes, go. And then she had me open for this show at the Knitting Factory covering one of her songs. And that was like a huge thing for me because it was going to be, I'm the first thing that people see in the show. And the fact that she trusted me to do that, I was like, okay, things must be okay. You know? So yeah, that was huge. That was huge for me.
That's a good push.
Oh,
Yeah,
I mean, it
that's
really
nice.
was, yeah.
Shout out Anoni.
Yeah, for real. For real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. So,
So you remember?
but what about, no, you're going to, my Chris Farley interview
Chris
stuff.
Farley.
A lot of times I interview like Chris Farley on Saturday Night Live.
So wait, how would he do it?
So you remember when you sang on stage? And you'd be like, yeah. And
Oh.
Yeah, wasn't that amazing?
That was cool.
Oh, right,
I do that a
right.
lot.
Okay, right.
But so also right away, like you put out that first solo record. What's the first solo record called?
Real life.
Real life, and it was like it like got embraced. What did that feel like?
That was surprising.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I had made an EP in 2003, and then I started touring with Rufus in 2004. So I actually had to like rush to get it done because we were leaving for tour in February 2004, and I was opening every other show of that Rufus tour. So I had to have the thing ready. Nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted that EP. I sent it around. Everyone was like, "Oh, thanks." Now.
Like to labels and shit.
Yeah, exactly. So I manufactured it myself and went on tour. And
when that happened, when nobody wanted it, did you get riddled with self-doubt about it, or did you just have this quiet confidence underneath?
No, I did not have quiet confidence.
Okay.
I thought what I did was like kind of cool, but the fact that nobody wanted it was not surprising.
Right.
I was like, yeah, like, okay, it's too weird. It's too this, that, whatever,
Right.
And so then I toured with Rufus for a couple of years. And in that time I was writing Real Life and recording it piecemeal when I was home.
Mm-hmm. At Bryce's place.
Yeah, Bryce's.
Trout.
Yeah.
Here in Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Bryce was like a big, was like a help. Like I was mixing a record with him at Water Music in Hoboken for Those Bastard Souls, a band that Dave Schaus from the Grifters put together. So we were mixing in Hoboken, and I was so fascinated by the way he mixed. And like what he heard and what he thought should come back in this place, Bryce, because he's also like he's a great arranger and producer, etc. And I was just like, and I was also really like blown away by like he would like suggest something, and then when it wasn't like when it didn't work, then it was just like gone. Then he was like, okay, that's cool. He'd move on immediately.
Right.
And I was like, wow, how does he do that?
He wasn't hung up.
Not hung up at all. And I was like, that's something that I really remember. Like, wow, he had a really good idea, actually. It didn't work. But now he's like, it's gone.
Right.
And there's space again for more new ideas that one of them will stick, Yeah. But I remember thinking that, like, first of all, that ideas are finite. Which they are not.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Like, oh, you got this great idea. You just got to figure out how to make it work. No, maybe not. You're going to have another idea in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Or 2 minutes or 2 hours, whatever.
Or 2 weeks.
Yeah. Or months.
2 years.
Yeah, or 2 years. Yeah.
Or 2 decades.
Yeah, sure.
That's too long to wait for a new idea.
Maybe. So I was like playing it in front of Rufus's crowds, who are definitely music people, but definitely music people that want to be hearing Rufus.
Right.
So some nights people were really listening, and that was really helpful. I learned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes people were just talking over me, and that was really like hard to take. Yes, ego-wise, but like also just my stuff's really quiet, so it was just like actually hard to do with so it was so distracting.
In that case, sometimes like if people are talking and I'm doing some quiet, I usually will make it absurdly quiet.
Me too.
And so where it just makes it really like absurd.
Yeah.
I like try to accentuate the absurdity.
Yeah,
and that sometimes shuts them up.
It does.
It's funny. It's a good Zen trick.
It is. It is.
You don't battle against it at all.
No, because you can't.
You really can't.
Yeah, because here, someone talking about, Colleen's new baby, that ain't gonna take, precedent over the fact that there's someone you don't know on stage playing music. But then when you start to realize,
even
that
I want to
you're
hear
really
about Colleen's new baby, and I don't even know Colleen.
I mean, so yeah, making it so that they realize that they're actually talking really loud over.
Yeah.
So then it does work.
It can work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so when the full length, there's like, I've told the story a lot, but like the guy who is my manager right now, Tom Rose, who
Still your
yeah,
manager.
well, yeah, I mean, he was on and off my manager,
Right.
but he's my manager. He heard me play.
Right. He
He
was
heard
at
me
that
open.
label in the UK, right?
Yeah, he still has that label, Reveal
Yeah,
Records.
Reveal
But he
Records.
had an independent record store called Reveal Records.
Yeah, I think I played there.
Oh God, that would be. I believe that.
I think I did.
He's amazing.
Yeah, I remember.
But he saw me open for Rufus, and he bought the EP and listened to it, and then went back the next night to make sure he didn't mishear me.
Right.
And then contacted me through MySpace
Yeah.
and said, "Yo, I want to sell your EP in my store. Will you send me some?" I was like, "Sure." He wanted boxes, and I was like, "Are you sure?" Yep. He was playing it in the store and selling tons of them.
Incredible.
Incredible. And then he said, "Yo, I've been wanting to start a label, and I want your EP to be the first release."
Amazing.
I hadn't met this person, and I was like, definitely.
This is like kids, follow your dreams.
Oh,
man. This
come
is
on.
a perfect story.
Yeah.
This is like, yeah.
It is. And, and so that was his first release. And then when I was, making Real Life, and then he found a label in the UK. Well, they were in Brussels at the time called PS, Played Against Sam's. And he knew.
Well, Play It Against Sam is like huge distribution.
They do distribution, and then they're also a
And they have
label.
a
They do
label, right,
everything.
okay.
Yeah. That's the label I've been on forever.
Okay.
So he knew someone from that and said, "Yo, check this out." And they were like, "Yeah, this is cool." So then my first and second full-length records came out on PS and Reveal, both. Like they both put them out. But then I've been with PS forever, and I've released other records from side projects and stuff on Reveal Records. And anyway.
Maybe Black Beetle could come out on that.
Yeah.
Or that's just gonna stay in
I
there.
listened to it.
Not feeling it.
There's cool stuff.
Yeah.
It feels like experimenting, which it
Right.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool, but anyway, so when Real Life came out, I knew my friends and my family would hear it.
Right.
That was the end of it, and I was like excited. I was like, "Wow, I made a record that's so cool." I'm 36,
Wow.
2006.
Right.
I'm like 36, putting out my first solo record.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Right.
And then when people started reviewing it
Yeah.
and like
Rave
liking
reviews.
it,
Yeah.
I was surprised, and I was really like blown away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
Had you visualized, because I'm into like this manifestation stuff, and had you visualized success or like anything before to help manifest it, or was it just completely not even in your mind frame?
It's interesting. People talk about the visualization thing, and I love that idea so much. I am one of these people that also people talk about like, this is my 5-year plan and stuff. That is just foreign to me.
Yeah, I don't really have a 5-year plan.
Yeah, I
wish I did.
5-hour plan.
Yeah, 5-hour plan is good. Even 5-day
I
plan.
like a 5-day plan.
Yeah.
I
But
got
like,
this 5-month thing going on right now. This is like a theme.
that's cool. 5 months is good too.
My 5-decade plan, though, that's the one I'm really working on.
That's what I'm hitting this
Yeah,
year,
I
bro.
heard.
Anyway, so I mean, the thing that I do is I just try to, all I do is make sure the music is the absolute best it can be. If that's manifestation, it's not. It's just quality control.
Yeah.
I think it's like I learned to like really listen when one of the words is like, and then it's like, ooh, that song's not done. You got to change that word.
Right.
So it's like, I think it's just like making it as perfect to my ear as possible.
Yeah.
And then just throwing it out there. Yeah, it's just like, I feel like it's like rather than manifestation, it's just quality control.
Yeah, Picasso has this phrase, never sell yourself anything.
Right, exactly.
Never sell yourself anything. And that's a real rough sentence to live up to if you're an artist, Because the what is it? The temptation to sell yourself on, like, especially if something's all like buttoned up, but that one word is like, the temptation to sell yourself that it's okay, like, you know, is big, especially if it's going to be a nightmare trying to retool it or whatever.
Yeah. I just sort of like, I mean, when I decided that I was going to do my own solo thing, I really, the thing that I did decide was I'm never, ever going to ever do anything like that isn't my way.
Right.
I was like, I'm already too old. Mm-hmm. So I'm home free, actually.
Right.
Like, I just get to make the music exactly the way I want.
Yeah.
And not, listen, nobody's going to try to put me in a bikini.
Yeah.
On stage with high heels. Nobody. I mean, I'll do that myself if I want.
You will. And pull it off.
Sounds about right.
Amazingly. So I'm all for it. Like, go for it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll think about that for stage wear.
Absolutely.
Coming up.
It's a must.
You also picked a very unique name, because even before I heard your music, I heard Joan As Police Woman. Mm-hmm. And you stood out just by picking that name. It's just so bizarre, and like, what is going on there?
Yeah.
That made me want to check you out.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good moniker.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very...
Are you pleased with it to this day?
You know, I'm happy. I'm fine with it. Yeah. It becomes something I don't think about.
Right.
But yes, I mean, I am. It's really silly, and I like silly. I mean, you know, you got to keep it light in this life.
Yeah.
Because
it's heavy enough.
Yeah.
Oh, it's real heavy.
It's plenty heavy.
It's seriously heavy. And it's getting heavier all the time.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So.
That's cool, man.
Every time you say, that's cool, man, I go to Chris Paul.
I know.
That's cool, man.
That's cool, man. So, yeah, so what was that like, having that success, like touring around and doing that? Then what? Like, your second album came out.
I mean, I did tons of solo touring then.
Yeah.
At the beginning, tons, because
just piano and guitar and
Wurlitzer. I used to drag an actual Wurlitzer around.
Right.
And guitar and an amp and a sound person. That was it.
Why'd you take an actual Wurlitzer around? Because you just vibed with it?
Well, because then I could, yeah. I mean, the sound of it is, there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
And then I didn't have to worry about, you know, like finding a piano anywhere. I mean, It was kind of crazy, but it's what I did.
Yeah.
I was dedicated to that sound.
Yeah. What did you do this last time?
I played grand pianos.
Everywhere you went?
Yeah.
You had a piano there?
Yes.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, it is. So either I played venues that had them or they rented them often. Yeah.
That's cool.
It was cool. Yeah. It was cool. It made it. It's like it made it. And that's also fun, playing all different pianos.
Yeah. So, yeah, now, though, like, you were mentioning age and, like, how, like, then it was like you're already too old or whatever. But, like, music doesn't have an age limit anymore at all. Like, even it was kind of going away even back then. But now it's, like, not even a factor. I don't feel like
it's not, but I just mean, like, you know, releasing my first solo album at 36, they're just, nobody is going to try to promote me as this, like, potential, like, young Pop-Tart.
Right.
Or, like, sex symbol or something.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I felt like actually it really released me from a lot of pressure.
Right.
Is what I'm trying to say.
I got you.
You know, like, because I was already, like, starting too late.
Yeah.
You know, of course it's not too late. Anytime you start is the time.
Right.
You know, Willie Nelson released his first record when the Redhead Stranger, whatever, when he was 40.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So he put out 1 million records with his, like, coiffed hair and real clean cut and, like, doing all the
right.
And then he put that record out, and that's what hit, because it was him, actually.
Yeah.
It was actually him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool. We know this.
Yeah, he's really cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So then what happened after Real Life? Was it the classic?
No, it was a song. It was a record called To Survive.
To Survive, right?
Yeah.
It was based around the death of your mother, right?
Yeah.
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 I remember that.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was around that, and it was also like kind of, I feel like in retrospect, based also around like the death of a lot of ideas of, or like places I had been in relationships that were really toxic.
Interesting.
Yeah, like
coming to terms with toxic relationships and how they work in your life.
Yes, absolutely.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so it's like surviving my mom dying, and we had a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
Not only, but it was rough.
That's the hard part about toxic relationships is they're not all, it's not black and white.
No.
And that's the thing that's hard for people to get their head around.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also like the coming to terms with what's my part.
That too.
Huge.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a huge thing about that whole time, was like really getting comfortable with admitting what my part of all the toxicity was.
And what was it?
Oh, well, variety of things.
Yeah.
I mean, like, depends on, with my mom or with, like, with relationships.
Right.
So it's just like that concept is like all over that record, because I was just like facing a lot of that. Yeah.
Evolving.
Yeah, evolving. I mean, that we got to do it.
Yeah, well, you do it. I mean, a lot of people are on autopilot and don't do it.
I feel really lucky because I got music. Music helps you do it.
It's an avenue of evolution.
Yeah. Also, death helps you do it.
Why is that?
Because it rips you right open. You get ripped open and you cannot hide. It's like you get ripped, and then it's just like your blood is like touching
Floating
the
in
oxygen.
the air.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's like everything is just, you can't run. You're like, you're there facing it. Yeah. So I mean, death is it is definitely the most difficult, but really, if you can take advantage of how much it can help you learn, that is like the way.
What kind of resolution did you arrive at with your mother in terms of the toxicity in the relationship compared to like the love and all that stuff? Like where did it land for you? I'm sure it's ever evolving.
Yeah. I mean, I have like, throughout time, like I feel so thankful that I got her, because as I mentioned, I'm adopted, so like,
right.
It's like I feel really thankful she was my mom.
Right.
I also feel like I understand why she had the problems with me that she did, and the reasons why, and that she's also she's an imperfect human being like everybody,
right?
And I also got a lot of insight after she died from my father, who didn't talk about that stuff until after she died, but then was open to answering all my questions.
That's very interesting right there.
Yes, because
he was protecting her
before.
But
Yeah. And then after she died, I was able, because he's a very open, honest person. He was available to shed so much light on what happened and ultimately have there be. I got really validated,
Your perspective got validated.
Which it had not previously.
That's really huge.
Huge. It was huge. It was everything.
Insane. That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because typical with toxic relationships is that the sort of toxic element won't allow your perspective to be validated because the narrative has to be that you're insane.
Right.
And it's so they avoid validating you.
Yeah,
at
that's
all
right.
costs.
That's right. That's right.
Like,
And
that's the priority almost.
right. And that is what she did.
Right.
She really, I mean, she was so stubborn, and I tried to talk to her so much, like as an adult, to like work things out, and she was not willing.
A lot of times with toxic parental relationships, they won't allow you to become an equal.
Yeah.
Or it can't. They can't handle that.
Yeah.
They have. Yeah.
Yeah, she couldn't. I think she felt like she had been so hurt, she couldn't risk it. I feel like she felt like she couldn't. She had shut the door. She actually said, "I've shut the door."
Right.
And she was not willing to open that door.
That's interesting.
Oh God.
Shut the door on you.
Yeah, shut the door on trying to figure out our relationship. She was done.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was done. And I mean, what's interesting is like, I mean, you know, both my parents died of cancer, and she was furious about it.
When she had it, you mean?
She was furious about dying.
Right.
You know, which I completely understood.
Especially if she like cut off her soul's journey in some kind of way.
I mean, that's how I see it, yeah. And then my father, who's very different, the way he saw life and interacted with life, he was 100% peaceful. So it was very interesting to see the difference in how they went as well.
Yeah, the reckoning.
Whoa.
It's big.
Huge.
It's big.
Major.
And, you know, I think people that are, you know, are narcissists or whatever you want to name, you want to call them, or label, whatever label fits. But I think once that reckoning hits, there's a lot that they're going to have to deal with in short order.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're even available to, like, get the information. I mean, a lot of people shut themselves down to the point where, like, it's
They're
just
not even
nothing
there
comes
anymore.
in.
Yeah.
You know.
No empathy left. No nothing left.
No availability to feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
How old were they when they passed away?
My mom was like 75 and my dad was like 78. He died 8 years later. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So was there any like thing like on your mom's deathbed or anything where you were you trying to
Always.
and it was just it was even at the darkest hour, like still a full shutdown?
Well, the crazy thing about her is that she was still very loving.
Right.
It was just, I'm not interested in opening that door on all that stuff that was not resolved.
Right.
But she was still very loving. And so I just continued to love her.
Right.
You know, she was also furious, but still very loving. I mean, that's what was so confusing about her.
How did the anger express itself?
Oh. I mean,
would she be angry at you that you're healthy and get to live?
No, she was like angry about like other people her age that were going to get to continue to hang out with me.
Yeah.
You know, she was also really angry because she got crazy. She got mesothelioma, which is asbestos. And you usually get it in your lungs. But she got it in her peritoneum, which is the lining of your stomach. They don't know how it gets in there. But then she was just so angry. Was interesting. She was so angry. She had like tried to eat more healthy as she got older. She was like, all those cheeseburgers I could have eaten.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, and she would say things like, Joan, don't you ever not eat something you want to eat. You know, like this kind of like crazy, just
Yeah.
like angry at fate or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, that like I'm going this way and I made all these steps to avoid the specific thing.
Right.
Not that like getting mesothelioma in the lining or something has anything to do with any of it. We know so little about science and how things happen, all this.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's how she framed it.
Right. That's
You know.
interesting. It reminds me of Warren Zevon saying, "Enjoy every sandwich."
That's right. That's right. How did he die?
I think cancer.
Yeah.
It's like, it's fuck you to the universe. Like, what the fuck?
It's what?
Yeah.
People who are pissed at the universe, just like people who get lung cancer that never smoked in their life. You're like,
That's my
what
dad.
The fuck,
That's
dude?
how
my
You
dad
did
died.
Everything right.
Yeah.
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 So when you express this in to survive, like how did it, like, was this a kind of a new level of songwriting in terms of expressing this kind of material, like depth of healing stuff and this kind of vulnerability?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm speaking now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that record came out 2008 and now it's 2020.
Right.
So, like, in retrospect, I'm able to talk about the healing. The healing was not yet happening. Like, it was at the start of the healing.
Right. These things take years.
Yeah, it really does.
It's like this parental bond shit is so fucking deep.
Yeah, it is.
That
So
no matter what, it's gonna take no one gets out of it for free. You
That's
could
right.
like go no contact, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
You could stay
whole
in, it's
thing.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Like it's like
Yeah.
there ain't no easy way out.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So I mean, at the time, it was just like getting comfortable with being honest with how confusing it was,
Mm-hmm.
and getting comfortable with being honest with, continuing to be vulnerable.
So like actually sort of breathing in even more honesty and more vulnerability into the writing.
Yes.
You ever read Brene Brown stuff?
Yeah,
Daring Greatly
Yeah,
is one of them.
yeah. She's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great.
Speaking on the power of vulnerability.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's like, I mean, that's what all my favorite artists do. They put in the stuff. I heard you say in an interview, like if there's something that you're scared to say, that's what you should say.
Yeah, definitely.
You still feel that way.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I still write songs that I think, well, I'm never putting that on the record.
Right.
It's way too vulnerable. And then
it's track
every
one.
time it's like, oh, that's the most important song on the record
Yeah.
to put out for me.
Right. Yeah.
And then ultimately, of course, for most other people as well.
Right. They resonate with it.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
resonate.
Yeah.
That's cool.
How are your parents doing?
Well, it's interesting because I was without contact from them. Like
Really?
I went no contact with them for a number of years, actually.
Really?
Yeah, some wild stuff occurred.
Okay,
You know?
yeah.
It came to a head, and I recently saw them again for the first time in a while.
Okay.
Which was nice to see, but
Wow.
kind of nice. I mean, it was bittersweet to a degree, but like
Wow.
there's an opening there.
Good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like, I'm kind of just like taking my time with it
That's good.
and
That's
just
really smart.
seeing how it plays out. But the thing about toxic relationships is your participation in it. You have to be like, in order for like a toxic entity to really like negatively affect you, you have to be somewhat codependent, have some self-love deficit disorder going on.
Absolutely.
And I was in a place when I went no contact where I had so much healing left to do, and not that I still don't.
Sure.
I'm sure I do, but I needed to really individuate, and I did.
Great.
And so
Joe, that's great to hear.
Yeah, and I've done a lot of work and a lot of healing to the point now where I feel like I can open back up to some of those kind of potentially damaging relationships and see, and I feel like protected within myself to have strong enough boundaries finally. I didn't even know what boundaries were. I mean, I think a lot of people who grow up in certain kind of family situations don't really have boundaries, or and I was certainly one of those. And I've organized some boundaries and put some posters up on some boundaries. I got a Zeppelin 4 poster on one of my boundaries, and I got that old Jimi Hendrix posters on another one. So it's interesting to kind of go back in. I mean, there's it's not a completely open door with my whole family.
That's good.
No, I mean that part's maybe it's not a completely open door. Like some of those relationships are kind of
I see what you're saying.
Shut down from their end now because
right
of that.
on. Yeah.
It's so there was some hostility that I received, which I was prepared for, I guess. And but with my mom, it was kind of there was a nice opening that could potentially evolve, I hope.
That's right.
And it's I feel lucky that there's still potential there.
That's right.
But I also my perspective on what happened hasn't really altered, from my point of view. So I'm cautious as well. So, but I'm much happier. I'm just because I do have a sense of humor about all of it, and because also when you scratch the surface on anybody's situation in life, there's these things, that we're on this planet going through some kind of soul journey, and it's not meant to be easy. I mean, if you go into 12-step rooms or anything, it's just everybody's got huge issues they're grappling with, So every day is a challenge to get your state of mind into a good place, and I accept the challenge.
That's great.
It's a fun adventure.
It is.
You look at it that way.
That's right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And that's how I've been looking at it.
So glad.
Yeah.
I mean, regarding your mom, you're saying you see it in the same way as you did. Your perspective on it, you see
well,
it.
it's like what you were saying about there's no validation.
Right.
So from their perspective, I would just up and went no contact because I'm insane.
Right. Oh, exactly.
But that's obvious. That's absurd.
Right. And
because nobody would do that.
Right.
There's no. It's akin to going I just cut my arm off because for shits and giggles. It just doesn't happen.
Right.
It's the most painful thing you can do.
That's right.
So there's something extreme that is motivating you to do that.
Yeah.
Or else you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, and what I was going to say about your mom is with this time that you took.
Yeah.
And you said you felt an opening there. She may have gained some insight.
Yeah.
In this time, and maybe is ready to be more vulnerable. Maybe. It's possible.
Yeah. She hasn't. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm open to it. Because I'm open to it.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
I was gonna say because life is short or whatever, but no, I'm just open to it because I'm open to it because what I was getting ready to say too is, the thing is there's no one size fits all, because for some people involved in toxic relationships with their family of origin, they absolutely should go no contact, especially if they're still fully codependent, fully enmeshed, full of self-love deficit disorder, full of toxic guilt and shame. I would say it's imperative for them to get out on their own and develop into a full-fledged individual. But then once you've done that, you're not... The weird thing about those narc relationships is once you have done a lot of healing, you're just simply not as susceptible to their fucking nonsense as you once were.
That's right.
That fucking nonsense has the propensity to destroy individual A, whereas individual B would be relatively immune to it. because they have boundaries.
And they know
as soon
who
as
they
toxic
are.
nonsense happens, individual B is like, okay, peace out,
Yeah.
motherfucker, without any guilt or shame. Whereas individual A, with all the self-love deficit disorder and toxic shame, that'll destroy them.
That's
and
right.
then they could try to step away, but they'll be so full of guilt and shame and worry and concern and all this bullshit, nostalgia and fucking nonsense. But person B is, so much stronger. So the thing is it's a moving situation, and so there is no one size fits all.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went from being person A to person B, and we'll see how person B does. I should probably switch that up. So now I'm person A, but you know what I'm.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I like person B.
Yeah, I'm person B.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
So it's
to
interesting
hear.
to reapproach it, but it's also interesting. Yeah, the whole thing's interesting.
It is.
And, and as long as you keep a sense of humor and you don't take yourself or
Yeah.
even life too seriously.
That's right. Yeah, you can't.
You just can't. It's serious as hell, but at the same time it's like, come on. It's like this is like
Yes.
all the world to me is a stage.
Yeah,
we
thank you.
are merely players. Rush, right?
Yeah. Are you kidding?
Neil
that
Peart,
was like
R.I.P.
That was my soundtrack for algebra.
Me too. When's the last time you listened to Moving Pictures?
Oh, I mean, whenever. So I would be. So I was in Atlanta a lot because that's where my biological mom lived, and so
That's funny because I lived in Atlanta too.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And so I would be driving her car to and from the hospital to visit her,
Uh-huh.
and that is where I would listen to like rock radio. And so in the last like 3 years or something,
Right.
I heard so much Rush through that station
Yeah.
that literally blew my mind.
No,
I
it's
would be
still
crying, just writing people like, "Yo, you gotta listen
I
to
know.
Spirit of the Radio right now."
Right. Yeah. They're kind of underrated.
Oh, I agree.
They're pretty underrated. They
I love them so
yeah,
much.
Me too.
I mean, I really do. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
Not
Yeah.
underrated anymore.
Well, I mean, people rate them highly, but they should be in that same category as like Led Zeppelin.
They are
like
serious.
that good. They're
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
It's like,
I know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And they,
And they made it to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's true.
Eventually.
That's true.
Yeah, they're amazing. Alex Lifeson's like guitar playing is
He's
the most ill.
It's ill as hell.
He's incredible.
I agree, and
Oh,
he
God.
and he always comes up last in the trifecta of them.
No,
But he's-
not for me. He's number one.
No, he's amazing.
Yeah, he's
the
number one.
guitar solo.
Oh, what?
On, like
Everything.
Yeah, on everything.
Yeah.
But on Limelight,
Yeah, come on.
the guitar solo on Limelight. Go listen to that
Right now.
Pause this podcast. Listen to Limelight. And then come back
Yeah.
and listen to the rest of this podcast.
I mean, yeah. So
It's a sick solo.
it is.
It's insane. Yeah, no, he's a genius.
Yeah,
They're-
he is.
And yeah, I wonder. I guess they're gonna not continue after Neopet. I think they were done anyway, but
Yeah, they were, but still
Yeah.
hanging out because they were still friends because they're cool.
yeah. And that whole thing, like, talk about somebody who got dealt some like Job-like blows in life. Neil Peart, and then he went, with his like daughter dying and his wife dying in the same year, and then
Yeah.
he like and dealing with cancer, and then he went on this like epic motorcycle journey,
Yeah.
and just like
I mean, the lore is
talk about to survive.
totally. The lore is they would drop him off with his bicycle 100 miles outside the venue, and he would bike in.
That's amazing.
But that's so.
I love
That is like, I'm gonna make the best of this day.
Yeah,
I'm gonna play 180 drums when
Yeah.
I get to the show. But before that,
I'm gonna ride 100 miles. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that's how I'm getting ready to do my next tour. I've been doing barefoot running
Ooh.
and stuff like that.
okay, great.
Yeah, I'm gonna go just ape shit with
Good.
that.
Well,
I want to do ultra marathons or something.
Okay. All right.
You know what I mean?
All right.
Dooley's
Yeah.
gonna drop you off in Amsterdam and say, "See you in Berlin."
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to do like wild shit. I want to amp it up because I just want to amp everything up.
Well, that is, I mean, you do. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You always amp everything up
Yeah.
to the highest degree.
To
Yeah.
Like,
11.
okay, I'm gonna fast now. 30 days later, I can't see. You're like invisible. You got so skinny. I mean,
Yeah.
you definitely just know you
Yeah.
do everything to the nth degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
no.
remember.
Yeah.
Like so.
12 raw eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not one, not two. Let's do 12.
No, it was 6.
6.
Anyway. Yeah. So what kind of like what do you think your new songs are gonna be? What in the vibe of, or what's flipping your switch?
I mean, honestly, I have no idea, which is really
it's a
fun.
blank slate.
It kind of is. What I did do on the last part of this last solo touring is, so I met Tony Allen, drummer for Fela, created Afrobeat with Fela,
Amazing.
combined traditional Nigerian drumming with jazz that he was obsessed with and made Afrobeat. This is Tony
Amazing.
Allen.
Yeah.
So
Where'd you meet him?
I met him in London through Africa Express.
Have
that I
you
do
ever
stuff
thought
with.
about moving to London, like the UK?
Yeah,
since
of course. I mean, I think about all the things, and then I get here and I'm like, New York's the best.
Yeah.
I mean, and I spend so much time
Yeah.
in Europe and whatever. Anyway, so I met him in March, and we really got along. But
Where'd
there was
you
like
meet?
I met him through Africa Express, which is this thing that I've been thankfully invited to do. Like, I mean, we went to Ethiopia in 2011.
Wow.
It's like a program that Ian Burrell, who's a writer, journalist, and Damon Albarn from Blur, they put this
remember
thing
when you
together.
did
Yeah.
that.
So they did a thing in London, and Tony Allen was there. Tony plays with Damon in The Good, the Bad, and the Queen.
Oh, okay. Great band name.
A great band. Oh my God.
Fistful of Mercy. I came up with that name based on The Good, the Bad, and the Queen because it was a spaghetti western twist.
Yes.
I was
Yes.
like,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great name and
I
a
love
great,
that.
great band.
Yeah.
So we just got on. I was also so excited about meeting him because
Right.
I mean, he's like one of the greatest living musicians right now.
I gotta explore him. I mean, I
Yes,
a
you
little
do.
bit of Fela stuff, but like,
Yeah, but all of his solo records, just check it out.
Tony
Like they're
Allen.
yeah, he's just amazing.
Okay.
So I was like pretty dorky. I was just like smiling. I couldn't help it. I was just so excited about, we did a song together, but like it was hardly any time, we had, I mean, after that, like at the after party, like he's like, listen, I like your vibes. And I was like, okay, great. I got him, And so
Yeah.
then we started texting and I was like, yo, would you ever be into recording? Yeah, sure. I was like, what? He lives in Paris. We made a record together in November.
Wow.
Improv.
Improv.
So now I have all that material
you-
and I'm going to make a record from that.
You're gonna edit it.
I'm going to
Which is your favorite thing to do.
Well, I'm going to make songs out of it,
Yeah.
because and I did
So
that.
you have grooves and jams and
Yeah.
like any full-fledged.
I mean, there's a lot of
songs.
shit there, It's good.
Yeah.
And my friend, my guitarist, producer, friend, David Kumu, I had him come over from London. So it was the three of us. And we recorded in Paris. And it was just ecstatic experience.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
How many hours of material do you have?
I have a couple hours.
Couple hours.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm
That's
really
gonna be
excited.
fun.
Yeah, it's going to be super exciting.
That's a great. Well, that's like what earlier when I was saying like, oh yeah, I found a thing and I'm excited. That sounds like you
Yeah.
found a major thing.
Yeah, I'm super excited about doing that, and I can't believe it all came together.
Right.
And he's 30 exactly years older than me,
Wow.
and he is literally like a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
He's incredible. He's gonna be 80 this year, and
Yeah.
he is like, he's amazing. He's amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway. And so I got that, but I'm also like writing for a new Joan As Police Woman record, which is going to be like, I think a separate thing that I haven't figured it all out, but So I got a bunch of things.
Oh, so the thing with Tony Allen?
I think that's
That's
I
not going to
don't.
be Joan As Police Woman?
I mean, it is. I don't know yet.
Right.
I don't know yet. I just turned in the cover 2 record, so I
Right.
gave myself a week. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sleep
Just hang
well
out.
and stuff.
Watch a little. No, you don't watch TV.
Not really, but I'm just gonna chill
Yeah.
for a second, and but so soon I'm gonna I'm gonna get that craving where I'm gonna have to get in.
Yeah.
So, but I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that morning thing, Joe.
Yeah, try that.
I'm going to, because it's so anti what I do.
It's interesting.
And I can't wait.
Yeah, it bears fruit for sure.
Yeah, good.
So you still got to write lyrics on the Tony Allen stuff.
Oh, I have to do everything.
Right, so you could just even start there,
Sure.
in the morning, first thing, put one on and
Yep.
just make yourself write words.
Totally.
That could
Yep.
be a version of it too.
Yep.
Or from scratch,
Yeah, we'll see.
whole thing.
And
We'll
the
see.
2-month tour coming up
Yeah.
to work on May and June.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Dates coming soon.
Dates
That's
coming
right.
soon.
Dates comes. No, the dates actually got released.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Just not the track listing.
that's right. That's right. Yep.
Any questions, Ehud?
No, we just love you, Joan.
Love you,
Fucking love
Ehud.
you.
I'm so
Yeah.
thankful
This
to
has
know
been in the
you
works for a
both.
while. We've been texting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's been a workhorse, and she finally got some time for us.
So
Thankful.
glad.
Yeah.
Man, it's been fun talking to you.
You too.
I mean, it's weird because, I just love you a lot.
I love you
You
so
know.
much too.
Yeah.
I think about you all the time. And this is obviously we would get together and hang and chat and catch up,
Mm-hmm.
but this is a very interesting way to catch up.
It is.
It's great.
It's indicative of the times we're living in.
Yes. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
mean, so many people love you too, so it's gonna be great for them to get a chance to
That's nice.
hear you in this context and get mad at me for interrupting you and all that kind of stuff.
You didn't interrupt me.
Good.
No, you didn't.
Thanks. You heard it from her. All right, y'all. I didn't.
A conversation
It was
means
yeah,
certain words get cut off.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a question. That I
Go
can-
for it.
Maybe it's too personal, but your
That's a
adoptive,
joke.
the parents who adopted you. Did you ever ask them why they decided to adopt?
My adoptive parents.
Yes.
Yeah, they couldn't have kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they couldn't have kids and wanted kids.
And you had a brother as well.
Yeah, I have a brother
so they
still.
adopted 2
Yes.
kids.
Yeah, he's a year younger than me.
And
Yeah.
then the follow-up is, how did you find your birth parents?
Yeah. Well, I was really lucky, is what I was.
It's sealed documents.
That's right. So I was born in Maine. I was conceived and born in Maine. And the state of Maine, at least when I was looking, was running. They had just a hookup thing you'd write in and say, I was born at this hospital at this time. And if a parent also had written, I gave birth to a kid in this hospital at this time, then it's just a hookup thing where they
Really?
send letters out. So this was in 1990, and I wrote them a letter, and I had seen episodes of Oprah. I've been looking for my mother for 13 years, this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I was prepared to not get anything back. 5 days later, because my biological mom had registered her name, we both got letters. I got a letter that said, this is her name, this is her phone number, this is where she lives.
Crazy.
She got the
Oh,
same
fun.
letter.
I got goosebumps.
Yeah, it's deep. So, because she knew about it, not everybody, for instance, my biological dad didn't know about it. He's still living, he moved further into the sticks. So, I mean, yeah, it was crazy. I flew down to Atlanta and met her,
You called first though.
Yeah,
probably,
yeah.
right? What was that call
Yeah.
like?
It's pretty deep.
Really?
I may have written first.
Written first.
Maybe. Yeah.
Was it like the first time you spoke to her?
Yeah, it's nuts. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's like probably nuts and also just oddly no big deal.
Yes. Also, she was very oddly no big deal.
Right.
Like in a way, but that's just her personality. We instantly
What do
were
you mean
just
by
like
that?
she's just very casual and just like sort of like just everything sort of just flows by. She's a little bit spacey, you know.
That's her way of dealing with life.
In a certain way, yes.
Yeah.
And then she knew where to find my biological dad, and I didn't actually get into it with her until like a few years later. Actually, I like just established us.
Yeah, you took time with it.
Yeah, and then she figured out how to contact my father, and then I went there. I met him in 95, and he was the opposite. He was so emotional about meeting me. Not that she wasn't, they just have different ways of expressing it.
Yeah.
You know, and he was like really
Over
like
the top.
he was really just like, I thought about you every day.
Uh-huh.
You know, I mean, she's the one that gave birth to me. He never ever saw me. She was sent to a home for unwed teenage girls.
Right.
So she was sent 4 hours south from where I was conceived in the back of a Skylark. What's up?
Really?
Yeah.
What's up?
In the back of a Skylark, what's up? That's how you're landing here.
Come on.
Wow.
You know, so it was, it was, I mean, I just lucked out. Yeah,
That's
because,
amazing.
yeah, it is. And I lucked out too, because they also were not looking for anything in me. They both had their own lives and families and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was really, I got lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever think about adopting a kid or anything like that, or
I really don't.
no?
No.
Yeah.
Until you just mentioned it. Joe.
Well, no, I don't. I mean, I got a lot of kids in my life because of
Yeah.
friends' kids. I never wanted kids.
Yeah.
I
I know that about you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I never wanted kids.
Yeah.
And I never am like envious ever.
Right.
You know, I just, I never.
Other kids, people's kids are the best kind of kids.
Yeah.
They are, because then you can leave.
Hey, who's got a
I
daughter?
got a daughter, but I know that. It's
Yeah.
like you can give him back. And like,
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah,
Yeah. I guess our songs are our kids.
they are. They
Yeah.
are. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was like since I was 8, I was like not having kids.
Right.
And I don't know if then even I was thinking like that's going to cut into my freedom.
right.
I don't know. I don't know if that's what it was.
Yeah.
It certainly has been something that has facilitated my freedom, not having children, and
Right.
and has made my life available for nonstop touring, for instance.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't have been able to do that if I had kids.
And do you still love it as much as ever?
Touring?
Yeah.
I love performing as much as ever.
Right.
I mean, touring is like, I mean, here's the thing. I tour with 2 people
Yeah.
that I love, so all we do is laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, and then it makes it fine. Then it makes it fun.
It is great.
I mean,
like,
I do love it.
Yeah.
The not sleeping is rough, but
No,
I
it can be
take
rough,
care of
but
myself in different ways
It's
now.
an adventure.
It's an adventure.
You know.
You know, you get to see so much shit. It's so amazing.
Going to Europe and shit like that.
I only go to Europe and Australia
Yeah.
and New Zealand. I never tour here anymore. I did that so much in the 90s and the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And I haven't.
Yeah, you will
Yeah.
again.
We'll see.
It'll come back around.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
Damn.
Thank you, John.
Yeah. Thank you, Ehud.
How long did we
Joe.
just chat for?
2 hours. I don't know.
Really?
Wow.
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, 2 hours.
A little under.
Damn.
An hour 50.
Anyway. Tell people like where to find you on social media and stuff like that. at Joan.
Yeah, I'm
As Police Woman.
findable under all the things. I got a website, joanaspolicewoman.com.
Yeah.
I'm on all the platforms that I know of.
Right.
I got a tour in Europe in May and June on Cover 2 that's coming out in May.
Go get your tickets.
That's right. They are on sale. Is today Friday?
Yeah.
Today, but they will have been on sale. I don't know when this is coming out.
Yeah.
Are you editing this?
Nah.
Wow.
Nah, it'll just go out
And
like this.
Joanthology is still out and available for anyone who wants to catch up.
That is out.
Damn devotion.
And there's a
latest.
podcast that goes with it that's really fabulous.
Yeah, check out
Check
out her podcast.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Very good.
Yeah, that was fun
On
to make.
Spotify.
All right, y'all.
Thank you.
God bless.
God bless you too. Love you.
Love you too.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Love you too, Ehud.
Thank you.
Hey, you're the best.
All right, bye-bye. Oh, that went by in so fast.
Wow.
Hi, this is Joseph Arthur. Thanks for checking out Come to Where I'm From. Please support us on Patreon, patreon.com/come to where I'm from. We are an independent podcast, and any contributions you can make are greatly appreciated.